Welcome back to another day, another episode of The Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about a report Microsoft will make even more of its games exclusive to Xbox as multi-platform strategy totally fails. So what's going on? We'll read that from Windows Central. We're going to talk about Xbox used Minecraft's profits to fund gaming portfolio. We're going to talk about Tilly Norwood, AI actress, stars in her first movie, Misaligned, by Particle 6. And we're going to watch Luke Stevens' video. I tried the Blood of the Dawnwalker early, and he gives his thoughts. So if you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Let me see who's all here. Aku, Travis, Eclipse, good morning. Altern, good morning. Sarge, good morning. Fake Wizard, what's going on? Good morning. Jesse Mack, good morning. Who am I missing? Scrolling. Altern, good morning. Wonder Rose, good morning. Jason, what's going on? Good morning. If you come on in, say something in chat, I'll say good morning to you. What's up? Just enough. I have a hard out at 12 noon sharp today. I got a doctor's appointment, not for myself, for my son. So we gotta move through these things. Can't go to 12:30, 1 o'clock like I've been doing. So 12 o'clock, hard out. So let's get to it. There's so many stories, right? There's so many stories, and I can't fit them all in the morning show. Okay, so this is why we push them to the next day, or we push them to Thursday night, Generation X Gaming, because there's Sony talking about, potential insider trading going on. Like, there's no short of drama that goes on in the gaming industry, right? When you're just playing games, you're like, I'm just playing games. I love games. You're like, this is fantastic. And then you start wondering, you're like, wait a minute. They screwed over a company? Wait, they closed my favorite studio? Wait a minute. They just put microtransactions? Oh, that's another one. Microtransactions, right? So if you couldn't think of EA getting worse, they've done it. They've put microtransactions into these single player aspect game modes. Okay. They've ruined it. They already ruined it for me. I haven't bought a Madden game in 15 years. Okay. But they've ruined it more. And we're not talking about that today either. Right? We're not talking about that today either. But we are talking about Microsoft will make even more of its games exclusive on Xbox as multi-platform strategy totally fails. So let's read this. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I know a lot of people are confused on how my channel works, right? We have new people coming in. They send me messages. They send me comments. They're like, what's your stance? My stance is that I am a gamer, but I also talk about the business and what's happening in the industry to keep you informed, to keep you educated, so you understand that it's not just games, right? Because at a bare bone, you're like, it's just a game. Cool. If that's what you want, play your game. Take the red pill or the blue pill, okay? And then either go play your game or you can stay and talk, right? Because we have conversations, not debates, right? It's my thoughts. It's your thoughts. We have a conversation. If you like it, you hit the like button. If you don't like it, you can hit the dislike button. It doesn't bother me. I'm going to be here regardless, talking about the stuff, if people like it or not. All right, so Jez Gordon here. We like reading Jez Gordon's stuff. Report Microsoft will make even more games exclusive. So Xbox loathed Project Latitude strategy, which saw Microsoft support the biggest rivals of the content, and is ending, with CEO Asha Sharma doubling down on exclusives. Okay. A new report suggests that Xbox plans to double down on exclusive games as Microsoft explores paths to grow in the ecosystem. Okay. This week, Microsoft began to process to eliminate 3,200 roles from Xbox gaming division, with the hundreds already laid off and leaving devastated studios. In reports of Bloomberg outlining what went wrong on Xbox, that potentially caught a glimpse on how Microsoft's thoughts are evolving around its gaming ecosystem. At the Xbox Game Showcase, CEO Asha Sharma outlined plans to make Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution fully exclusive to Xbox consoles for now. Right? Bloomberg suggests that Microsoft is looking to add even more exclusive games to the lineup potentially, which echoes comments execs made in the summertime at the Summer Game Fest in LA last June. Now, much like Xbox, it's only 4 games. That's right. Remember that? It's only one horse armor. It's only 4 games, right? Statement about going to multi-platform. Previously, the "it's only 2 games" mantra applies here in reverse. Microsoft is looking at making even a tentpole single-player games historically multi-platform exclusive to Xbox hardware and at least on console. Could this mean we're eventually going to see the next mainline Fallout or Elder Scrolls go exclusive to consoles on Xbox? Well, before we even move on from that, the only way that would happen is if they take these first 2 games, E-Day and Clockwork Revolution, and if they start to see a turn where people go buy the actual hardware. Because if they don't see people going out and buying the actual hardware, well, then the plan is the plan until it's not the plan, and then it's the plan again. Okay, because if their plan is to put 2 exclusives, one this year and then one next year, and it starts to curve that bell curve going up higher and more people are starting to buy the actual consoles, well, then, yeah, they'll add more exclusive consoles to the actual thing because that's how it would work. But if it doesn't start to curve in that bell curve, well, guess what? They're going to put them everywhere again because they need to make the money. And they're not selling consoles, especially when the consoles are $800. Okay? So, continuing here, it says, reaching the biggest possible audience has been the best margin to play at Xbox has been in recent years. Microsoft was previously driving Xbox to chase 30% profit margins, which is insane. An easy way to do that is to sell software wherever you can. However, Asha Sharma is not operating under that mandate. Instead, Sharma is operating under an ecosystem growth mandate, which is just funny to me because it's like they shoot themselves in the foot because they put their own mandate on Phil Spencer and he had to do because the mandate was there. But now she's here and she doesn't have the same mandate, so she's more free to do stuff. Imagine that, right? But then again, there was 14 levels of management just a couple days ago. Sharma has spoken at length about how her internal focus will be on Xbox's core, the console gamer. Console gamers is the Xbox ecosystem represent 4 times higher lifetime spending than other types of users across Microsoft's vast gaming ecosystem. Those are called fans. I don't know if you know this, Microsoft and Sony and everything else. These are the people that made you the multi-billion-dollar companies / trillion-dollar company. That would be your fans, people that love what you did for them, hence why they gave you more money. Yet now you shit all over those people, and you wonder why they're not giving you money. On PC, they compete with the Steam and for margins. On mobile, they compete with the well-established and dominant Eastern titles while handing away millions to Apple and Google for the privilege. Now, despite Xbox retreat from PlayStation in a recent term, there remains tens of millions of active users on the Xbox ecosystem. Okay, these users disproportionately passionate and spendy, indeed, and also anyone left on the Xbox ecosystem after all of this disappointments represent at least the casual investment customers in all of gaming potentially. Sharma wants to grow that base. All they had to do was make games, sell games. That's all they had to do. They didn't have to do all these things. They just had to make games, sell games. But greed came in. And not even greed from, like, they thought we were all going to be stuck in houses for the rest of our lives. Right? Don't forget that. That's not a conspiracy theory, okay? 6 years ago, all of these conglomerate companies thought we were all going to be stuck in the house for the rest of our lives because of COVID. Okay? It's more true than ever than Xbox represently spending on console gaming in general, next gen, and even current gen. Consoles are going to be expensive, owning the memory availability crisis, tariffs, and the rest of it. Arguably, creating a desire through exclusive content is more crucial than ever to maintain the ecosystem in the universe. One way I've heard that Microsoft is exploring achieving this is direct integration between Xbox and Minecraft. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma restructured Minecraft to answer directly to her for the first time, integrating Minecraft's features at a platform level into Xbox consoles. It'll be one of the avenues to explorations her team will also look into here. What that looks like remains to be seen. I don't think Microsoft will do anything to degree in the Minecraft experience or other platforms, especially PC and mobile, but there might be exclusives. Okay. Integration for Minecraft on Xbox consoles. I can see Microsoft leveraging Minecraft to sell Xbox Helix as well. In some ways, it's more aggressive and co-marketing activations and bundles. What I would assume this, since they already fucked up the brand, because when you close your eyes and you think Xbox, you think Master Chief, Halo. But they screwed that up because now Halo is over on PlayStation, right? So now when you close your eyes, they're like, what's the brand of Xbox? Since when I close my eyes now and Halo's gone, what is it? Well, Minecraft's played everywhere as well, but they own Minecraft and it's a much bigger franchise than Halo. Okay. So, but there is no mascot. But on their side, the business side, right? The business side, they look at it and say, oh, well, Minecraft, people know we own Minecraft now. So they want to use that as the springboard and put it everywhere to make that the new mascot, even though it's everywhere. Okay. PlayStation, if you close your eyes, you're thinking of either, Uncharted or Kratos or Astrobot. You close your eyes for Nintendo, you know who it is. Okay. It's Mario and then Zelda, right? So it's like they have their things, and Nintendo has never strayed from that. They've kept their core. Longer term, Microsoft may explore doing this with the Activision Blizzard properties too, but there are also currently regulatory restrictions preventing Xbox from leveraging things like Call of Duty in the same way. PlayStation recently landed a massive multi-million-dollar deal, marketing deal for Grand Theft Auto 6. The marketing deal is so vast that Rockstar can't even mention the fact that there's an Xbox version. Okay, PlayStation rebranded its apps to match Grand Theft Auto branding, and you can expect billboards ads and other campaigns to follow, excluding Xbox from this conversation. Under previous leadership, Xbox has strangely reluctant to even seamlessly embrace or associate with some of the acquisitions with Xbox ecosystem. Games like Doom, Fallout, indeed Minecraft, barely had any co-marketing with Xbox console hardware, and it's been in the console ecosystem, right? Which is stupid, right? You should be advertising this, but they can't because they have it everywhere. So they don't have the thing, but you could do exactly what PlayStation's doing right now. Play best here, do this here, only on here. You know what I mean? But they don't want to do exclusives until now, right? The new leadership is taking the opposite view, and it might have no choice. If the consoles are to be more expensive than ever, there needs to be more reasons for you to ever buy. I'm going to drop $1,000 on a PlayStation 6 or an Xbox Helix. Why would I buy a box and get less content? Right. So you want the Helix, if it's going to be $1,200, $1,500, there better be exclusives on there. If you're a person that wants to buy it for the exclusives. Okay, Asha Sharma hopes that leveraging some of the Xbox biggest franchises is co-marketing, co-integration, transmedia content, exclusively regimes. She might also be able to convert more gamers into core Xbox users. Phil Spencer was transparent in thinking it wouldn't be possible, suggesting it's a previous interview that even if Starfield was a mega banger, making it exclusive wouldn't have moved the needle for Xbox hardware. Sharma is betting that maybe a steady stream of said bangers might do the trick. How many years are we talking about here? So you're banking on, right? You're banking on because you've already diluted, right? Once you dilute something, it's really hard to get it back to its consistency, okay? Like you could add, like if we're talking about baking here, right? You can add water, make it more liquidy, okay? You can add more flour, right? But you're gonna have a hard time getting it back to that consistency you had before. So what do? Right? So now we're talking about, let's say 2030, right? The game system comes out, let's say 2028, right? The Helix comes out in 2028, let's say. People are making games for that system, let's say right now. All right, well, when the system comes out, it's going to be 2.5 to 3 years into the cycle that they're finally going to have a exclusive brand that's for that system. Right? Not that it's on that system and it's also on the old system. No, it's just for that system. We're talking 3, maybe 4 years into that cycle of that console. Now you have to buy $1,200 to $1,500, supposedly, right, for that. And then you have to make sure if that game is good or not. And if it's not good, then they're going to throw it on the other platform anyway. But since it's a PC, it's going to be on PC anyway. So now because you've made Microsoft and you've made Xbox more of a PC, why, as a customer, would I buy your specific console if all of your games are coming over to PC as Oro? Now, if they say exclusive and it's only coming to Xbox's Helix and it's not going to PC at all, Well, that goes against what your other business model is, where, play anywhere type of stuff, which completely changes that idea. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the future with Xbox Helix. Now, it'll take years to find out if she's right, but if Microsoft corporate gives her years to implement this strategy, that's arguably the even bigger question. The problem is she going to be here long enough to see it? Is Asha Sharma going to be in the position that she's in right now 4 years into the cycle, which means 6 years, 7 years down the road? I don't know. I don't think so. Let me know what you guys think. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. Let me get to chat and see what you guys have to say. All right, let me scroll back up here. Let's see here. A clip says it's getting bad. Even people getting paid by EA are talking about it. Oh, for the microtransactions in there? Yeah. What's going on, Mr. Z? Happy Wednesday. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. I think there's a show tonight for Fake Wizard News. So we'll be on Fake Wizard News tonight at 7 p.m. I forgot it's Wednesday. Let me see here. What's going on, LD? Good morning. LD says, so exclusives are no longer antiquated. Interesting. Right. Until they are again. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of funny because they put Halo, now it's coming to PlayStation, and they're like, we're going back to exclusives. It's like, you just took your mascot and threw him over to the other company. By the way, where if you get a deluxe edition, you get a digital manual. We found that out yesterday watching Kingard's video. What's going on, Apollo? Morning, Ron. Ron says, hear me out. Gears of War kart racing. Oh, I think you got it, Ron. I think you got it. Waterbear says, Xbox greater than PC and PlayStation 5. Let's go. And then they're dead. What's going on, Mo? Good morning. What's going on, Tarnish? Poor console market just becoming more irrelevant by the day. Yeah, I don't understand. Because even if they go exclusives, right? Let's talk about that for a second. If they go exclusives and they put Clockwork Revolution and E-Day is only on Xbox, not on PlayStation, but it's still on PC. But your next console is a PC, and you only make it exclusive, are you not putting it on PC anymore? So the people that are actually playing your games on PC, now you're going to lose them to make them go buy another $1,500 device so they can play Clockwork Revolution? It makes no sense. It's going to be very hard for them to get back to what they're doing. Waterbear says, 30, came in late, but I think she's moving on in 2 years. I mean, based on her resume, I said she's probably gone in 2 to 3. She probably won't be here in 4. And it looks fantastic right now, right? It looks fantastic right now for her until the mandates start to happen again because it's not turning around fast enough. We have to see exponentially more people buying consoles. Well, they're not going to buy the console that's now because it's $800, right? And you're not going to buy the one that's $1,500, $1,200 in 2 years. Even if you show us all these exclusives. They'll be like, nah, we're good. We got plenty of games. We got plenty of games. We got free-to-play games. We got paid games. We got 51,000 games that have come out. That's not including this year. Waterbear says, what the hell happened with EA? Oh, you mean the college game with the microtransaction fiasco? We really surprised? No, I'm not. That's why I've never supported them. I haven't supported them in 15 years. They're like, it's just the one. It's just the one time they've done this. They sold you the Kona Vision back again. You know what I mean? Come on. I'm not surprised. Jesse Mack says, nah, Asha is just the placeholder to find a new person to take over. Look, I've said this. I think she's going to take over Nadel's job. Satya Nadell is going to get taken over. She'll be at the company, but she won't be in this position. Aku says, 30, we should start making Crash Bandicoot into Xbox mascot. Big Mo says PC isn't going anywhere. Right. So how are you bringing exclusives back? Are we just talking console exclusives or platform exclusive? But there's another platform that you've teamed up with, which is PC. But because one person doesn't own PC, you know what I mean? Like the company doesn't own PC, they're okay with it. Jax says if they go exclusive with their games, how will they make money with it on Game Pass? Well, Game Pass, they're thinking that Game Pass is switching up hardcore. They're saying they're probably going to take, like, just either take them off or, you know, that upper tier is going to be more expensive like it was a couple months ago. Regular Game Pass will be regular Game Pass, but the first party day and date. But the problem with that, man, if games cost, as Gears of War E-Day supposedly costs $450 million, that should not be on Game Pass. I'm sorry. As a gamer, I want it on Game Pass. But as a business, that's stupid they put it on Game Pass because they'll never make their money back. They'll never make their money back. El Nini says Clockwork does look good. Yeah, but El Nini. So let's just make this, all right? So Clockwork Revolution comes out next year, right? It's exclusive on Xbox. You don't own an Xbox right now, but you own a PC, right? Are you going to go buy an Xbox to play Clockwork Revolution? No, you're going to play it on PC because it's coming to PC because that's what they're doing, right? So you're not buying a console for Clockwork Revolution. You're just playing it on Game Pass on PC, or you're going to buy it on PC. You're not buying a system. They want people to buy their system. Turner says, if the goal is ultimately competing with Sony, you want the sales to reflect that too. Where all we're finding is 60 to 70 million extra gamers to buy an Xbox in order to match Sony's numbers. Right. In the example I just gave El Nini, why would I buy Clockwork Revolution on the console that I don't own when I already own a PC and I can just buy the game there? You know, it's console exclusive. It's on PC. Ron says EA will charge you actual football used in Madden as DLC. They're like, hey, you want to use the football? Oh, if you want your helmet on your guy, you got to pay extra. That's $2. You're absolutely right. I was just saying it looks good. Oh, yeah. It looks good. I'm just saying, does it look so good that you're going to buy a system? Probably not. Travis says, nobody's going to buy an Xbox for anything. They don't have the console seller yet. Arguably, Sony doesn't anymore either, but Xbox really has nothing. Xbox has it. It's just they are on PC at the same time. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, if you just look at the world and go, oh, it's just consoles. These are consoles, and this is a console, and this is a console. The next generation of these consoles are PCs. They're PCs. So if someone's already moved over to PC, why would they go backwards to buy a console or a newer PC that's labeled Xbox when they already have the hardware that can play the game that they want? Mo says Clockwork can sell Clockwork can as well. Yeah, but Mo, you're not engaging in what I'm saying. You're engaging that you're saying, oh, it could sell well. Sure, it could sell well, but people are not going to buy the console at $800 for Clockwork Revolution. It's not a sequel. It's a brand new IP, right? It's not mind-blowing like, oh, my God, I need to have that. You know, Halo back in 2001 when it came out, that was a system seller because we didn't see anything like that before. We're in 2026. Most of these games, Clockwork Revolution looks like all the other games that are made in the same engine. Right? Everyone's like, oh, it looks like BioShock. Is that BioShock? Mr. Z says can't charge for gear. They would have to design an injured system and add it to the game. They're too lazy. It's true. Waterbear says the next-gen consoles are weaker PCs that also cost the same as a mid-tier PC at this point, which is crazy when you think about it. Mo says they would buy it for 4 or 5. At 4 or 500? Sure. But what world do we live in? You think people are going to go buy the Series S for 4 or 500? I guess. The days are gone where people buy the hardware for the game. Not with the generation of $900 consoles and prices for decreasing over time. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Jesse Max says Clockwork Revolution looks like BioShock Infinite. Yeah. The problem is that the systems that they're creating are closer to PCs. And the people that are on PCs are not going to go buy another like PC just to play that one game when they can play the exact same game on the PC. Eclipse says, all I hear is PC gaming is going to get bigger and bigger. Yeah. Why wouldn't it? Because if I buy a Helix, right, and especially if we go all digital, if we get all digital, we don't know if Steam's on that system yet, right? I get a Helix, it's just Microsoft Store. If I buy a PlayStation 6, it's just Sony Store. If I buy a PC, I can go to Windows and buy it. I can go to Steam and buy it. I can go to GOG and buy it. I can go to Epic and buy it. Why would I limit myself to one place where they can gouge the prices, never make a sale, and you know what I mean? Like put it on sale, where they keep the price up higher longer than if I go to PC and there's competition over there. Make it make sense for me. What's going on, Kylo? Better off giving you the companies nothing for hardware and buying a used system for way less money. I could buy a Series X right now for $300 on the marketplace. Tarner says, one storefront with one price, dictated by one company. No thanks. Right. I don't even have the system in my hand yet. But why would I choose one platform, right? Right now, because the consoles have no disk drive, or if you have a disk drive, you have a choice of buying it on Sony or going to one of the stores to buy the disc, right? Whoever's got it on sale, right? Same with Xbox. I could buy it on the Microsoft store, right? I could buy it on the PC store, right? I can buy it on, through the cloud, whatever. I can go to the store. But now if they all go digital and the next systems come out and Sony's got theirs and Xbox has got theirs, why would I limit myself to one place and they're not selling them the stuff in the store, right? There was talks that Sony, again, hearsay right now, we're not too sure, that people are reporting now. I think I saw it on, whose video was it this morning? Oh, no, it's Alex, right? At the end of his video, he talked about how there was a site talking about how Sony didn't let any of the box stores or anyone know they were doing what they were doing. They just did it. Sort of like how people get fired and they don't know until it's on Twitter, right? They didn't know it was happening until after the fact. Which means Sony's doing this move to have complete control over everything. Because if they said something and did something, people would have been like, yeah, no, don't do that. Aku says sales already reflect Sony's sales. Xbox actually sells more copies percentage-wise for the base. If Xbox had 90 million consoles, it would be selling 6 to 9 million copies of games. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Waterbear says, I think Sony is in a race with the box to become the most hated company. Oh, that's still EA. That's still EA. Yeah. You could do a lot of stuff and EA would still be it. Drummond says, good morning, 30. Are you having a good day so far? And do you think everyone's physical collections are worth money? Is your personal physical collection worth anything? I will never sell my collection. So it's worth everything to me. If I ever got to the point where I needed to sell my stuff, I'm sure people would buy it. But it's only worth to what people want. Some people that want to collect it, they'll pay whatever they want. There's people that pay millions of dollars for certain games to finish their collection just so they're done with it. Other people pay $4 at a garage sale and be like, nickel you down to $2 because they don't want to pay the $4. I personally will never sell my collection. Yeah, I will never sell my collection because my collection's my collection. I also, when I'm not here anymore, I don't know if my son wants my collection. He might not have any interest in my collection. So he might sell it at a garage sale and get $2 for a thing. Or he could sell it or keep it. For me, I'm never selling my stuff. I've never traded in any game to get store credit at GameStop. I own every game that I've bought. Every game. From the beginning of time. El Dente says, what's going on, El Dente? Good morning. Can you put in your will if Sergeant and Little 30 don't want the collection, then I get it? No, I'm taking it with me. Like, I die and that's it. Like, someone will have like an estate sale, or my son can do what he wants with it. Nothing. Mr. Z says, exactly. Very sad. Got rid of my Dreamcast for the Xbox OG, and when I moved from California, I got rid of my Xbox. Dummy. Yeah, I have all my stuff. All games, all the cartridges, everything. I can open up my own little museum. Warbear says, store credit at GameStop is a scam. I know, I worked there back in the day. Oh, yeah. I actually went in there one day, and I forget what game it was. I brought it in, right? Because I was like, I don't really play this anymore. I brought it in. They're like, we'll give you, I think it was like $1.40. And I went, $1.40? I was like, I'll just keep it. I'll use it as a coaster. What the fuck am I going to do with $1.40? There was a guy recently, because of the whole news about Sony, he brought in his whole collection of Xbox games, like valued at like $20,000, and they gave him like $1,000 store credit. Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? They're like, well, at least he's got $1,000 now. Yeah. He could have easily sold those games by his own and got 10 times the amount of what he's got. He's going to bury me like the Egyptian pharaoh, surrounded by his games. No, I'm getting cremated. So you take all those games, you just put them in the thing with me, and you burn them with me. Yeah, I'm getting cremated. Like, I want everything, right? You put you show me off. You put all the games and stuff around me, and then afterwards, like, yeah, just throw it all in, like the ET in the desert. Just throw them all into one thing. Just burn them all, and then throw them in. Put them in a. Here's your father's remains and all his games. Oh, thank you. Justin Up says, I only traded in a few games, and it's because they were bad. Oh, I remember what game it was. It was the Fantastic Four game. I never played it. My mother-in-law bought it for me because she's like, oh, he likes comics, and bought me the Fantastic Four game. Here, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I can't find it, but they gave me $1.40 for it. And I was like, yeah, I'll just keep it. It's worth more of a sentimental value than it is what you give me for $1.40. Jason says GameStop has decent promos here and there. Never trade all my stuff. I did trade in one thing, and I traded in my original Xbox for a 360. Okay. And the only reason I did that is because of the backwards compatibility. And I do regret it. I do regret it. That thing was fucking a beast, dude. That was like this thick and like this big. It was ridiculous. Aldete says, I used to trade in things all the time, but only when there was a sale. August says 30. It's going to be the Pharaoh, his collection buried with him. Confused archaeologist in the 300s. Yeah, no, not going to happen. I'm so upset every day, and it crosses my mind that I can't remember what the store it was called. It wasn't GameStop, but it was sold at least 40 PlayStation 1/2 games for like $20. Oh my God. Altern says there was a Fantastic Four game. Yeah, it was. It wasn't fantastic. I'll tell you that. It's terrible. Aldente says I traded Skyrim for $1 when my save file got corrupted. I lost my 1,000-hour game for $1. I would just keep it and be like, see that game right there? Fucking corrupt. I can't play it. But I had 1,000 hours in that thing. No, I didn't, Mr. Z. I'll look for it tonight. Just Nub says, what do you do? Do you guys with your old controllers trade to GameStop? I don't do anything with my controllers. I throw them in the garbage. If they're like broke, I just throw them in the garbage. But it's funny because any controller from the last 10 years, I just throw them away and get a new one. They're like disposable. Okay. But my controllers from the past, they all work just fine. All work just fine. Turner says, I remember when people thought the aliens were trying to communicate with us through OG Xbox menu. Oh, so the 4 in the Fantastic Four game was the rate, like 1 out of 10. Yeah, it was, actually, no, that'd be a false because it was a 1. It's definitely a 1. Ron says, even GameStop wouldn't take my copy of Concord. There has to be a board. We got to make a board for Ron, right? It's like the streak continues. Every day, in every stream, Ron brings up Concord in some way, shape, or form. It's a 4 and a rating from 1 to 100. That makes much more sense. That makes way more sense. All right, we're going to the next story, which is Minecraft's profits to fund gaming portfolio. Now, we kind of talked about this in the last story. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We just cover stories, give you my thoughts and opinions. We get your thoughts and opinions in the live chat. Appreciate you. Xbox used Minecraft profits to fund gaming portfolio. Okay. It's been a pretty busy week in those living in the world of Xbox. We've seen studios parting ways with the company, massive management restructures, thousands of layoffs stacked up, most significantly restructuring in the brand's history being lined up. It's been pretty divisive time across the wider gaming industry, but at least they're not threatening the future of discs, right? Oh, just kidding. A new report from Bloomberg, more information was revealed from within the confines of Xbox, including a pretty surprising fact about how the team was funding a wider gaming portfolio for a hot minute. Okay, Minecraft's success is Xbox's gain. Now, you could do what you want with your money, right? Like, if you guys give a tip or something or super chat, right? I could use that to buy lunch. I could use that to pay my bills. I can use that to invest back into the stream. You do what you want with your money when you get your money, right? Asha Sharma recently dropped a monumental bombshell, publishing a massive letter across the social media revealing the future of Xbox label. There's one hell of a shakeup in the story of the company owning the firm being financial hole and bleeding money faster than it can recoup its losses. Bloomberg recently published a new report diving deep into the strategy side of Xbox and why everything went wrong. It would inevitably lead to a whopping 3,200 layoffs being lined up across the entire company, which includes the stripping out of the multiple management layers. Now, the report discussed Minecraft and Mojang, as Sharma stated that the studio will be invested in a little bit more going forward, as she believes it's the underutilized and might be the reason for that course. It was stated, though, that the familiar with Xbox operations, that once upon a time, Minecraft's profits were used to fund the rest of the gaming portfolio. What's probably one of the major driving factors of Sharma is now deciding that Mojang and King, mobile-first developer behind Candy Crush, will report directly to her, right? So she wants to. She's like, you're not taking these profits. I get to choose where this money goes, and it's not going to that other stuff with the 14 layers of management that was happening, right? It says, are you surprised that Xbox is repurposing Minecraft's profits to fund the rest of the gaming slate? Now, I'm confused by this because we talked about this a little bit yesterday with Game Pass, right? Game Pass has 30 million people. It's about it's like $450 million a month, roughly, between 400 and 450. Now, obviously, that's not direct net, but they make a lot of money, okay? What were they using that money for? Were they using that money for anything? To invest back into Game Pass for other games, to come back into Game Pass instead of taking that money and spending it $450 million to make E-Day or other things? They were taking Mojang's money that they were making from Minecraft, from all the microtransactions they have with that, and the Realm servers that they get. What were they throwing that to? Right? If I was an actual investor, I've worked for this company, I would like to look at the sheet and go, what are we spending this money on? Who is getting this money? Right? What profits of Minecraft are you throwing into? What did you make? You're a gaming company. What games did you make with the money that we got from Xbox or from Minecraft? What games did you make with the profits that we got from Game Pass? What games did you invest in to Game Pass with the Game Pass money? What games did you make with the Minecraft money? Show me where it is. Like, where is it? It's mind-boggling to me. They just hired a COO. It's mind-boggling to me that nobody knows where this money's going. What, was it just a generic circle around the thing? It's like profit. Yep. Where's it going? Where's the paper trail? What are they using it for? Who's taking it? Now, obviously, we're just gamers. They're not going to tell us all that. But it seems very odd that nobody knows. They're like, yeah, they were mistreating the funds. Okay, where were they going with it? As an investor, I would love to know. I'm not an investor. But if I was an investor, I'd be like, what the fuck's going on here? What did you guys say? They just highlight digital. Yeah, we put it back towards digital. What does that mean? Mr. G says, new definition of circle jerk. It's mind-boggling, right? Again, you could spend what you want the money on, right? You made $1 billion. We talk about movies all the time, right? Studios make 10 movies a year. 7 lose money. 3 make money. Those 3 movies fund the movies that basically failed to make their next group of movies that they're going to make, right? They reinvest it back in. They take a little bit and put it in their pockets, do stuff. But what is the gaming industry doing? They're taking Minecraft's money. They're taking Game Pass's money. They're taking all the other money. But what are they making? You bought Undead Labs in 2018. They didn't make a game. 0 games came out of Undead Labs while Xbox owned them. State of Decay 2 was already made, okay? And all they did was update it for the entire time they were there with the company. 8 years, 0 game. State of Decay 3 is about to come out, and they're like, oh, we're going to let you go. Brilliant strategy. Brilliant strategy. Let's invest money into this company for 8 years and get 0 out of it. Oh, fantastic. Oh, let's take investment. We bought Double Fine, and they gave us 2 games that did absolutely nothing. Fantastic. What a great investment. Invest in Redfall. Should have canceled it. They kept investing in Redfall. Came out, and they're like, no big deal. Just throw it on Game Pass. Who's making these decisions over at Xbox? Who's making these decisions? It can't just be Phil. There had to be, well, it wasn't just Phil. We know that, right? Because there was 14 levels of management in between the company and the top brass person. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Let me see what you guys are saying in chat. Our game rankings should have the Concordian scale. We're in the Concordian timeline, so you might as well. Waterbear says, I like her style, to be honest. She comes in and removes the fluff. Is that her style, though? Or is that what she has to do because she's like, this is a fucking mess? What is she supposed to do? Just sit back and relax? Not change anything? I don't really think it's a style. I think it's more of a mandatory. Otherwise, she's just the new Phil Spencer, right? It's going to take some time and turn that she's also moving them in the right direction. The plan's the plan until it's not the plan. You're going that direction. You think it's the right direction until it's not. Sarge says $100 million a month after expenses. Sure, that's $1.2 billion a year, right? What are they using that money on? Travis says the Elder Scrolls 6 launch window revealed as layoffs push game out of touching distance, saying about 2030 at the earliest. But we knew that beforehand. We knew that beforehand, before all these layoffs and everything, because of what Todd Howard said, that they are now done with Starfield, and now they're in full production of Elder Scrolls 6, which is 6 years after they announced Elder Scrolls 6. We said earliest, 2029, 2030. That's before all of this happened. Xbox throwing money to the stockholders and shareholders. I mean, I guess. I don't even think I got to the stockholders and shareholders. I'll be honest with you. Well, look like this. For over a decade, plus, apparently Xbox has been hemorrhaging money according to what's going on, which is crazy, right, Water? Considering they showed their books and said they're profitable. They were profitable, and now they're not profitable, right? Because remember, most people don't pay attention. Every year, they told us they were profitable. And then this year, Satya Nadella said they haven't been profitable at all the entire time. That's a hell of a difference, different sway of what they said before. Mo says 14 fucking layers, not 14 people. Right. 14 layers, not 14 people. There could have been 100 people in each of the layers. Come on, Michelle. I want to remind you, before Highguard released, everyone was still loved Sony and Xbox gaming, was safe and about to love the games, love of games. Now gaming feels like digital only. Wall. I mean, to be honest, you've been here long enough, Michelle. I wasn't in love. I'm not in love. I love gaming, but we've been calling their shit out the entire time. Right? And that's well before Highguard came out. I think everyone else is starting to wake up about what the industry is. Waterbear says, have you been using profits on cars like Pete Parsons, apparently? Did you see Pete Parsons' tweet yesterday? Let me bring this up. Did you guys see Pete Parsons' tweet? This was fantastic. Pete Parson yesterday. Where is it? Was it not him, or was it a different account? Hold on. Does he tweet that much? I don't think he tweets that much. Oh, it might have been. This is funny. Someone created this. Let me find this. This was hilarious yesterday. I think Dupless posted it. It was funny because Pete Parson posted, and I didn't look at the name. I saw Pete Parson, but I don't know if it's actually Pete Parson himself. Yeah, here it is. No, it's not him. It's Pete Parson. Carson's the game. Okay, so someone created this, which is pretty funny. Okay, so this is Pete Parson. Okay, this is Pete Parson. So Pete Carson, or Pete Carson, I don't know if it's real, right? I don't think it's, do you have what it takes to be Pete Carson in the vault? So someone created this, right? It says, do you have what it takes for Pete Carson in the vault of cars and stop him from purchasing all the remaining cars in the last city? The vault of cars goes live this Bungie Day, July 7th at 10 a.m. via a dedicated website. The encounter will feature tomatoes, merchandise, buffs, cars, and lots of cars and much merch, right? Someone created the Pete Carson video game through a dedicated website, right? And here it is. Destroyer of Guardians. Oh, man. Do you see what some of those things? Studio decay, bad decisions, promise fatigue. It's good stuff. This is where the internet wins. The internet wins with stuff like that. It's not really him. Ron says, can Microsoft buy RAM company and lower the price of RAM? I mean, if they built their own factories and stuff like that, there'd be a whole bunch of people rebelling against it, like business-wise. But you got to put another person of competition in here, because the people supposedly are corrupt because they're all working together. That's why they're getting sued. Sarge says, not profitable, bro. Record-breaking profit ever is what they said. Mo says, I'm a bot for life, and y'all know that. But this shit is fucking ridiculous. Shed the fat. Waterbear says, Vault of Cars. It could be a game on Steam. Greenlit, the Woman Simulator game. Yes, there's a real game. It's coming out. A Woman Simulator game? Okay. Sarge says, that's better than Concord. I bet you it sells more than Concord and Marathon. Saint says, if Microsoft bought RAM Factory, RAM prices would for sure go up. All right, I'm going to go to the video next, and we'll talk about Tilly Norwood. If we don't get to Tilly Norwood, then we'll push that over to tomorrow. Okay. The video we're going to watch now is Luke Stevens. Okay, now Luke Stevens is talking about Dawnwalker. He's a content creator, obviously, much bigger than myself. I like watching his content. He gets invited to stuff like this. He's giving his inside opinion of, he played the Blood of the Dawnwalker. He's giving his insight about what the game is. Review, overview. I haven't seen it, but I saw him. I was like, you know what? We'll watch that. Okay, if you guys like the content here, hit the like button. If you like his content, go to his channel, give it a like, give it a sub. He does a lot of stuff. I like his content, podcast based. We have the same type of style as what we do our shows about, right? So go over there. If you don't like the pausing and stopping, you just want to watch this video, go over there and check it out. Okay, won't hurt my feelings. All right, here we go.
So I recently got to play 4 hours of The Blood of Dawnwalker in Los Angeles as part of a preview event, and I have thoughts. If you're not familiar, this is the first game coming from Rebel Wolves, a studio that was founded by former CDPR developers who worked on The Witcher 3.
As he said, right? So these are people that came off of Witcher 3, wanted to make their own game, and this is it, right? Now, when did The Witcher 3 come out? See how long it takes to make a video game?
Dark fantasy RPG set in 14th century medieval southeastern Europe, and in it you play as a Dawnwalker, somebody who is both a vampire and also a man, meaning that during the daytime you get to enjoy the benefits of being a human, but at nighttime you actually get the benefits of being, well, a vampire, as you would expect. And this is a cool enough concept by itself, but they doubled down on it completely in every facet of the game's design. You see, they've decided to make the most of this duality of man by really making time matter.
And the reason we're watching this, I know that a lot of you guys are interested in this game. I will not be getting this game, but I like watching stuff and learning about what the game is and stuff and give you my thoughts and opinions as we see stuff. So
how this works is that quests and activities in the game's world will cause time to pass. A single conversation as part of a quest may cause time to pass by like an hour, while other broader activities like...
That's interesting. I mean, time's passing regardless, but that's an interesting mechanic to put in the game.
An infiltration of a castle may cause time to pass 4, 5, or 6 hours. Exploration is not affected by this, so you don't have to worry about exploring the open world causing time to pass. But effectively every important or major...
So wait a minute. As I'm walking around this world, the time is not ticking, so it's like paused. So I can just explore its daytime. So if it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the game, it stays 1 o'clock in the afternoon for literal 3 hours of me playing. Is that the way I'm understanding that? I'm going to rewind here for a second.
Major act of a castle may cause time to pass 4, 5, or 6 hours. Exploration is not affected by this, so you don't have to worry about exploring the open world causing time to pass. But effectively every important or major action in the game will cause time to shift forward, meaning that if you, for example, were about to go on a quest where you need to infiltrate a castle, you have a choice between either going forward with that quest at noon as a human or going and doing side activities to move time forward so that you can infiltrate the castle at night.
So, okay. So the only way time passes is in actions. So it's an open world game. So I have a question. Yes, 30. If I just walk around the map and it's open world and time doesn't pass, can I not just grab stuff and become more powerful? Or is it locked behind the quests, right? Like, I find a chest or I find whatever I can get a piece of gear, but I can't open that because I'm not on the quest that I have to talk to the NPC that gives me the time to get that thing to go there. Do you know what I mean? So it feels wide open, but really it's linear because, and again, I'm just jumping gun here because just listening to him, I don't know anything about the game. Nothing about the game. So if I open world, I can go wherever I want, like Crimson Desert type of stuff, right? But if I interact with something or talk to somebody, it moves the time. But if I don't talk to anybody, I can't find anything or do anything because they're locked behind quests and time things for me to go there. Is that right? I thought the way the time passes only in actions unless you do something. You had a major, but starting side quests don't move the time, but completing side quests move the time forward. He talks about it, I'm pretty sure, what you're asking. Okay.
Night with vampiric abilities. Both approaches are supported and differentiated in terms of gameplay and quest design, meaning that you can go through that quest as a vampire, climbing up walls, flying and teleporting here and there, or you can go through as a human using your charisma and dialogue choices to get through the quest. And I'm gonna be real, when I first heard about this, I was intrigued, but I mean, this is the type of mechanic that's really easy to screw up, so I was like, I'll believe it when I see it, but I'm happy to report it actually works really well here. And when you stack on top of the dichotomy of the character, a really interesting European setting, and of course, really dark and intense writing, and the fact that these devs previously worked on The Witcher 3, all of which is like music to my ears. I'm so into this concept. And so when you take all of these things together, roll them into a burrito of gameplay, you end up with The Blood of Dawnwalker, a medieval dark fantasy RPG with really cool vampiric abilities and a very unique time passing mechanic that makes every single...
I mean, it sounds interesting with the time mechanic.
...choice matter, even down to which quest you're doing and when. And that's assuming you have time...
Which makes replayability for the game, right? Because last time I only did this quest. I want to try to do this other quest. Smart.
time to do everything, which I'm guessing down to which quest you're doing and when. And that's assuming you have time to do everything, which I'm guessing you won't. Don't worry, more on that in a little bit. But overall, after spending 4 hours with the game, starting at the very beginning and playing through the opening 4 hours, I'm happy to report I'm pretty impressed. I mean, it's not perfect. There is certainly some like clunkiness to a lot of what is here. It is not like full quadruple A whatever. It's clear that this is the team's first game and there's going to be some rough edges. But if you're able to look past those rough edges, what's here is pretty unique.
Crowded says, it does sound cool, but I thought Redfall sounded cool. Yeah, but then you saw Redfall. Right? What they spoke about Redfall, and then when they showed Redfall, you're like, yeah, it doesn't look cool.
And pretty damn cool. So buckle up, I'm gonna get specific. No spoilers, of course, to preserve your first run through, because I know I would hate it if something was spoiled for me. But I'm gonna try to give you a picture of what this game actually is, what it does well, and what it maybe does not so well. Of course, subscribe. That's what I'm supposed to ask you whenever you watch these videos. And like the video, I guess. Do that too, or don't. I'm not your dad. Do whatever you want. Much.
That's why I like Luke. I'm the same way. I don't, honestly, if you like it, like it. Right? You got to say it because people won't do it. And even if you tell them to do it, they still don't do it. But it's like, whatever.
Love, let's start. Go. Me, let's talk. So the event for the game was in Los Angeles. I flew out in the morning. I went to the event straight from the airport. And then right as they told us to put the controllers down, I pretty much left out the front door and headed back to the airport. But I really appreciate them having me because the venue was really cool and they got the...
It's like, he just sounded like it's like a business. I'm not saying it's a business transaction. I'm trying to be like a hooker came in, right? It's like he came in, did the job, and then just left. Do you know what I mean?
Lighting down pat, and when we walked in, there was like an actual choir singing chants.
They were in a church?
It's all medieval spooky style, which was cool. I mean, like, not necessary, but pretty cool. But the way they approached this preview was pretty much exactly what I would look for. They decided to give us 4 hours from the very beginning of the game without any real restrictions other than some invisible walls in the far distance, which most people didn't even reach. And then they basically said, yeah, play the game, hit start from the very beginning, play through the first 4 hours and go for it. What we played was obviously an early access build. I mean, the game is not coming out until September 3rd, so they do have plenty of time for polish and refinement. But given that, they did not let us record our own footage. They gave us 30 minutes roughly of B-roll. And again, we played 4 hours. So there's going to be stuff I talk about that I don't have footage of. That's just...
Well, that's where we differ, Travis. I don't think any game is worth $70. Do you know what I mean? $60? Sure. 70? No.
Just par for the course. I would rather...
Let alone 80, 90, and 100.
Rather they let us record, that would be my ideal. But again, it is still technically like months away, so I get it. You can't really complain about that. It's too early. You know, I get it, but that's why you're going to see footage that doesn't necessarily completely match up to what I'm describing. However, I will say that I think in terms of overall quality, this is probably fairly representative of what we can expect in the final version of the game. I didn't personally run into any crashes, anything that I would consider to be a bug, no quest glitches, nothing, which honestly is pretty rare. I've been to a lot.
What engine are they using? Do we know? Does he say it?
Of these previews, and it's pretty common even just like a month or two out that you'll run into some major issue that they've already fixed or identified to fix before launch, but I didn't personally run into anything in my time with it. Now, to avoid spoilers, you basically begin the game by going through a fairly straightforward tutorial sequence. I won't be specific, but it reminded...
Combat looks a little stiff.
Me of The Witcher 3's intro in a good way.
Is it Unreal Engine 5? Okay.
Makes sense when you play it. From there, the game opens up into a smaller section of the open world. Think of Breath of the Wild's Great Plateau or the starting area in Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's a tighter, more confined space that lets you learn the ropes of gameplay without being like completely exposed to the open world completely yet, at least. And it's here you learn the ropes of how the game is going to function, both in terms of combat, both in terms of questing, dialogue options, and that time mechanic I described earlier. And I'll go through each of these, but I'll discuss questing, the time mechanic, and then combat last. In terms of questing, everything that I experienced, again, reminded me a lot of The Witcher 3. Everything has a story associated with it. Nothing you're doing is just random fetch quests for no reason. If they send you to collect something, there is a clear narrative purpose for it, and there are consequences associated with completing that in a timely fashion or when the quest giver asked you to.
Yeah, he's full of shit because he plays those games.
This is one of those games where if a character tells you...
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Travis.
Get this thing quickly, immediately.
PS5 Blow says, I can't wait to not buy this game.
Immediately. Don't stop for anything. They mean it. If you go and get
Super excited not to buy this game.
distracted for an hour doing side
The question is, PS5, are you going to pre-order not ordering it?
quests or something else, there will be consequence for that. And that's important to note because this game does a really good job of sprinkling in distractions constantly. You will get sidetracked if you are not trying to focus on certain activities when you are tasked with them. So just be aware that that is something you will need to constantly think about if you don't want to end up in trouble. As I mentioned earlier, they built out most of the quests to accommodate two play styles, either the day or night version of gameplay. And this is even reflected in like the key art where you can see like the I don't know what you call this, the key, the symbol, whatever. There is the day and the night. They have tried to design almost every quest such that you can go through it as a vampire or as a human and both work. That's at least the idea.
That's a cool concept. I like the replayability of what the game, what he's explaining to us. Okay, I like the fact that you could play the game and try to be all daytime type of stuff, right? Or play it during that time or all night. You can do a mixed match of both. But I'm still a little confused on the time stuff, because if it's an open world-esque, that means it just feels like it's open world, but you really can't access stuff unless you choose the quest line to go do that thing. Like, for instance, yesterday we were playing Enshrouded, right? And I already went to certain places that a quest would tell me to go do. And I went there and I found chests and I did the thing. I got stuff. But now I got to go back and do it for the story reasons and go back to the exact same place, right? Maybe I get a different reward of a boss fight and stuff. But I'm very intrigued on how that's going to work in a game like this when that's the game mechanic.
There are certain open world activities I ran into that are locked to being a man or being a vampire individually. So those cannot be completed willy-nilly. You have to specifically go after them in one time of day or the other. But as far as I saw in terms of main story quests and like side quests, they were pretty open-ended. Practically what this looks like, and in terms of actual like moment-to-moment gameplay, is that during daytime questing, you're going to be doing things based on like charisma, based on conversations, and probably straightforward combat. In nighttime questing, most of what you're going to be doing is stealthing, is about parkouring and finding different ways to enter areas. You know, it's a different angle of attack usually, as opposed to going straight through and relying on charisma to get you through. You're going to do it more stealthily and sneakily. And this brings me to questing with the time change mechanic. You see, in this starter tutorial zone, you're tasked with a bunch of activities that pass time before a blood mass happens in the evening. And it's pretty straightforward. You are told to go and like complete various tasks around your village until it's time for the blood mass. So it's up to you to spend your time however you see fit, which is important because you may think that this is one of those tutorial zones where you just have to do everything and then the blood mass starts. But no, they actually told me, the devs that were at the event told me that they actually placed more than you have time to deal with. So there are going to be quests that you do in this tutorial zone that are there to teach you that you cannot complete everything. There's going to be somebody that needs your help, and if you don't help them, they die. And there's not enough time to help them and this person over here, and you got to pick your battles. And so if you
I get that as a game mechanic. It's interesting. Again, replayability.
pick this one and you help this person over here, they will die, and you will see that reflected when the blood mass comes. It was really cool. I mean, after we finished it, I was talking to the devs and I was like, did I screw up? Like, I felt like I was doing good, but I ran out of time and I couldn't help this person that needed help. And then they died as a result of it. And they're like, no, we did that on purpose because we want you to realize that your time and your choices within that time frame have consequences. And we are not afraid of killing characters and punishing the world and giving you consequence because you chose to spend your time doing this or that, which is, again, just important to know. Because going into this with that understanding, I think will make you appreciate.
I never played Majora's Mask.
Those moments and decisions way more. It's also during these quests that I learned to appreciate something I hadn't even considered when it came to this time passage mechanic.
Okay, so now it's a time passage mechanic. Search Lazar by the peat bog.
You see, it's really easy for something like this to just turn into a gimmick, something really simple that doesn't really have any consequence or impact or whatever. But here, what they've actually managed to do is make something as mundane as selecting which quest you want to do a choice. An actual choice that has consequence within the world. Because in a lot of RPGs, let's be real, even in something like The Witcher 3, questing just turns into a checklist, effectively. You just...
That's all games. That's why they're called fetch quests.
Go through, you got the main story, and maybe you want to pump the brakes on that. So you go through your side quests, and you just go one by one, working your way through them until you're done with those or all of the quests in this area, and then you move on to this story quest and push that forward, then do more side quests after that. But usually, effectively choosing which one to do at any given time is either a matter of proximity, what's closer to you, or it's just a checklist, and you're just working your way through. But they actually managed to find a way to make that selection a conscious, careful consideration.
Until YouTube gets involved. Because, again, and I'm speaking out of turn. Don't know if he's going to say this, okay? But if I'm playing the game, and Tarnish is playing the game, Ray's playing the game, Travis playing the game, I'm playing the game. We all play the game. We all do different styles. Then there's YouTube and there's forums. And they're like, oh, well, don't bother doing this mission. Don't bother doing that mission because you don't get this. It's better if you save this person and you save that person. And then it doesn't really become choice anymore because the first time you play, it has that sensation, that feeling. But then you're like, that quest wasn't worth it, right? Because you'll find a quest, you'll do a quest, and then the reward that you get for that quest probably won't be that big of a deal. But then you do another quest, and you're like, well, that's a good quest to do. So next time you do it, you'll be like, oh, well, I'm definitely going to do this quest, and I'm going to try a different quest to see, right? And sure, from a game perspective, you get to try different things over and over, but there's always going to be a best path to do. So this is just the longevity process of that. But because the internet, it makes it much, much smaller. Because when people play a game, they don't want to waste their time, right? I know someone's going to write in chat right now or on the comment section, be like, what's the point of playing the game if you're not going to play it? I understand that. I'm just telling you how gamers work, right? They'll be like, I'm playing the game. They're like, that wasn't worth it, right? With stuff like this, with real consequences, it has to be worth it.
And that has real consequence and impact, just like it would if you were actually in this world.
Sure.
Just like, if somebody says, I need medicine for this person right now, and if I don't get it, they're going to die. That's important. I mean, it's one of my pet peeves in RPGs when somebody says that, this is urgent, they need your help. And then you go get distracted for 35 in-game days, come back, and they still need help like nothing happened. It's bizarre, and it pulls me out of any sense of immersion. Funnily enough, in The Witcher 3, they actually dealt with this in one of the early game quests where you need to brew Swallow, the potion very early on that's used for healing. There was a girl who was out meeting her beloved in the forest when she was attacked by the griffin that you're hunting. The herbalist tells you that you could use this Swallow potion she's helping you brew for the girl, but it's also possible that could severely hurt her. It may cause her to die in agony and may not actually help her. After all, the potions are not made for human consumption or regular humans that haven't undergone mutation. You know what I mean? And this is a bit out of the scope of this video, but in The Witcher 3, you can give her the potion. You can say, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to risk it. Just let her die in peace. Or you can get distracted and never come back and never.
Right. And that's your choice as a gamer, right?
Never make a choice and just leave it be. And there's a consequence for that. Just like there's a consequence.
Okay. But the consequence also is there even if you don't come back. Because what about if you did help them and they gave you something that was good? Or they don't give you anything. And you're like, I don't need to do those. Those are side quests and I don't really need to do them.
If you give her the potion, and a different outcome plays out when you go to a camp and run into her beloved later on. Like, every little thing has been considered and there is a consequence for all of it. Even apathy is a choice. Choosing to do nothing is a choice. Just like in Blood of Dawnwalker, choosing to not do a quest at this moment is a choice.
So I have a question. What about if I don't want to do any of it? Right? Just as a game test. Right? Like, for instance, we play Adamfall, right? And we killed everybody in the town. Right? I killed the vendors and stuff, and then I didn't have vendors there. It's a consequence, right? I didn't have a vendor to talk to. I couldn't buy anything from these vendors. What about if I don't do anything and save anybody at this awakening that's happening, and everyone dies? Does it affect me? Does it make my game harder for me down the road? Does it make it, you know what I mean? Does it change it consequently?
And as time passes, that will probably affect what happens with that quest. Again, I'm keeping it vague because I wouldn't want spoilers, and I also don't have direct gameplay to show you these things, but I will say that there were multiple quests that I ran into where if you did things incorrectly or at too late of a time or took too long to do them, there were different consequences for each of those, which is really exciting to me. It means that I have to be intentional as I play through the game with what I'm doing and when, in terms of questing specifically. Open world exploration doesn't move time forward, so if you just want to go out, explore, and hunt monsters and stuff, that's fine. You can do that, I think.
But if I do that, do I get skill points? Am I leveling up? Am I making myself stronger by doing that before I do the quests?
Open world exploration, it's important to note, does not pass time. So you can go out exploring, go shopping, go, hunting or crafting or whatever. You can do that and take a breather and, you don't have to quest the whole time. But once you choose to actively engage with a quest, that choice has to be intentional here. And I'm going to be real, I really like it. I went into this worried it was going to be just a gimmick and something stupid that doesn't have much consequence, but it really is a core pillar.
So from the story perspective, cool consequences and stuff like that with the story elements, right? Choose your own adventure type of thing. Open world stuff, can you become overpowered before you do the quest?
Of this game, and it's one of the most unique things in an RPG I can think of in recent memory. It's really cool, it's immersive, and again, it makes that choice, which normally is something you don't even think about. It's just select the side quest and then start doing it. But it makes that choice a mechanic with consequence, and I love that. One of the other things I really liked was the writing. They've done a really good job of keeping things really profound and important. The characters within this world take it seriously, and there is no Marvel writing or quippy banter here as far.
Travis says, and it's confirmed choice in this game will carry over to next. Well, that is not really a seller for me because what about this game doesn't sell well and they don't make the second one? You can't sell me on something that I don't know if I'm going to enjoy yet, right? Like telling me that it's a Mass Effect style, that has no bearing if I'm going to pick up the game or not, because I'll be more frustrated if I buy the game, play the game, go through everything, and they're like, it didn't sell well. We're not making a second one.
As I could see. Voice acting was also really, really well done. The lip sync and animation quality is about...
Second one's already in production, so to say. Great. I don't cash the checks before, I know what the fuck is going on.
In line with what you would expect here. It's not on the level of like Baldur's Gate 3 or something, but it is roughly in line with what you would see in like The Witcher 3 or another RPG from like the late PS4, early PS5 gen. Nothing ground shaking, but again, that's not really why you're playing a game like this. You're playing a game like this for the writing, which is a lot harder to get right than lip sync. I'll tell you what, like if I have to choose between really good lip sync and like dynamic animations and conversations, I will choose really good writing over that any day. And I'm really happy to report that the writing, as far as I can tell, is a strength that they have here. But this brings me to maybe one of the other conversations, which has come up a lot with this game, which is effectively like production value. This is a $70 game. There's no beating around the bush with that. And with a $70 price tag, there's a lot of people that expect certain things, namely
not lip syncing issues. Just saying.
$70 quality. And with that comes top of the line animation quality, graphics, presentation, just in general. And I don't think it's bad here. Don't get me wrong. Like it's a beautiful game and they've done a really good job with a lot of it, but it's definitely not like industry leading. For some people, that's going to be like a deal breaker, something that they can't look past that spoils the game for them. And I think that that's unfortunate, frankly, because I think you'll miss out on a lot of really great games if you like decide to buy them or not based on the quality of dynamic animations in a conversation. The reason it's a big deal when we talk about games like AC Shadows is because those games don't have good writing. And so like they don't have good writing. And then they also don't really have very good animation quality. And then they also don't, like, you just start going down the list and there's nothing really exceptional about it. Here, it's got really good writing, but like the animation quality and conversations is not great. But that's not that big of a deal. I mean, honestly, again, it's like smaller in terms of impact, especially because it also has really good impact when it comes to the quality, if that makes sense with writing. I mean, I feel like most people know what I'm describing, but I think there probably will be comments describing how they like, oh, well, the game looks cool, but animations are kind of stiff in conversations. And it's like, okay, if that's your deal breaker.
Yeah, but you put a full price on the game, $70. It's at the upper echelon of games, right? We're not talking about a $50 game here. We're not talking about a $40 game here. We're talking about a $70 game. if your $70 game doesn't hit the same things as other $70 games, then guess what? It's not a $70 game.
I'm sorry, because there's a lot of amazing games like KCD2, great example. Phenomenal writing, amazing, immersive RPG, one of my favorite games of all time. And KCD2, like, it doesn't have the best dynamic conversation animations. It just doesn't. Like, let's be completely real. As a fan of the game and the franchise and the studio, it's not its strong suit, but the game is still phenomenal and worth playing. But another area where the production value has come into question is with the combat. And I think
the combat looks very stiff.
That this is as good a time as any to discuss that. Now, like I said, we played the first 4 hours. So we're going through tutorial sections with basic bare bones characters that have very little by way of customization or level ups and stuff like that. So we are playing the most basic version of the game. And I think that's important to remember as we go through this, just to lay the foundation, you know? But having said that, I think the combat is...
What does he mean by the most basic? I know he only played 4 hours, but what does he talk about the most basic? Let me rewind that for a second.
Bare bones characters that have very little by way of customization or level ups and stuff like that. So we are playing the most basic version of the game. And I think that's important to remember as we go through this, just to lay the foundation, you know? But having said that, I think the combat is probably going to be the most divisive part of this game. You see,
well, how long of the game are you playing with combat? Like, am I going to be playing 70 hours of this game and the combat's going to be shitty like this?
They have two different combat modes. One that's based on directionality with parrying, kind of akin to a Kingdom Come Deliverance. And then another mode that is more traditional third-person action combat. It was heavily suggested by one of the developers to me that we should use the directional combat, which they've put a lot of effort into, because they really think it's really good and they're very proud of it. And so I did not experiment with the traditional combat that's more in line with what you probably would expect from like an Assassin's Creed RPG game or from like The Witcher 3. Maybe that combat variant is really good. I just personally didn't experiment with it. I just was playing with the directional based combat, which I actually, honestly, really liked. It took a while to get used to it, but once you got the feeling for parrying attacks as they came in from different directions, it actually felt pretty good and actually quite responsive. I would encourage everybody to try it with this when the game eventually launches in September, but I think it is important to note and point out that enough people seemingly brought up during their early testing of the game's combat that they didn't like it, that they actually went in and added this traditional combat variant. So it's going to be polarizing, almost.
I have a question. The dude's got armor on his neck. It's chainmail. I understand you're a vampire, but wouldn't that have stopped you from biting his neck? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that type of character, you wouldn't be able to bite their neck?
Certainly. I mean, it's...
Am I nitpicking there? No?
Apparently so polarizing that they actually took the steps to add an alternative combat mode, which I think shows that they expect some people will not like it. I personally liked it. I thought it was pretty cool, but I do want to just point out that there is another option if you think this combat that you've seen in trailers and in this gameplay looks rough. There is another option. I just don't personally know what it's like. Sorry. Now, as for the combat itself, it's pretty straightforward and self-explanatory. It's mostly about positioning, distance, and then timing parries. It's nothing too novel or crazy, but it is responsive and feels pretty tight once you actually get your hands on the controller. Juggling multiple enemies at a time, though, is certainly a headache. It always is like this in directional-based combat systems, whether you look at KCD or even something like For Honor. It's just not what these systems are designed for. They want you to pick one enemy, focus on them, and then avoid the others with your positioning. There are some abilities and some attacks that can hit multiple enemies and that are kind of meant for crowd control, but it's definitely not its strong suit. I did take a peek at some of the late game improvements to combat and abilities and stuff, and I will say that I think a lot of them would make the combat feel way better and probably be more flashy and exciting, especially like vampiric abilities where you're fighting with like your actual claws and you're doing like blood drains and stuff like that. I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. In the later game, we just...
Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance was 60 on PC, 70 on console. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 70 on console, $60 on PC. Another reason to buy PC, by the way.
Didn't get to see that because, again, we were just playing the first few hours. Overall impressions, though, I think the combat is serviceable. I liked it, but it's definitely not something that's going to be like winning any.
Why would that be, Travis? You're like, on console, you mean that actually matters. You literally get cheaper on PC and you can make the graphics and everything better on PC. It's literally a shittier version on console for most games, and you're paying more.
Action game awards. Like I don't think Hidetaka Miyazaki from Software is going to play this and be like, yes, let's do that for Dark Souls 17. Like I don't think he's going to do that, but it's good enough, I think. And I don't mean that like insultingly, that it's like barely good enough. I don't mean that. Like The Witcher 3 also doesn't have great combat. It's made way better by the DLCs and stuff.
No, the game actually runs better on PC, regardless of the graphics. It literally runs at 60 frames, 120 frames, 240 frames. Literally runs better on PC for cheaper, minus the graphics.
But, I think that this could be way better as you get more levels.
If I say so, okay, I say so, because facts.
Up and it gets more complex and more engaging. Just based on what I saw in the first few hours, it seemed pretty straightforward and, again, good enough for the type of game that this is. You're not playing a game like this for the combat. You're playing a game like this for the writing, the consequences, and the story. And I'm happy to say that that is where this game really excels. They've put a lot of energy and effort into consequence, into your choices actually mattering. And I'm really optimistic that that will have significant impact as the game goes on and as you get later and later into it. For example, something happens in the first few hours of the game where your family basically becomes captured and you have a set period of time. You got like 30 days to save them effectively. And at the end of that 30 days, they're not going to need saving anymore. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. But it's my understanding, at least, that at the end of that 30 days, if you don't save your family, like the game doesn't just end, like your family does, but you can keep playing. And that is a consequence. And that is something.
I like the mechanic they put in this game, as just far as if you're a person that loves playing a game like this, there's multiple playthroughs. You'll play through where in the tutorial section that he's talking about, let's say there's 10 quests. You only can do 7 of them. You'll play like 2-3 times to get the different things going on. You'll play differently where you'll kill your family. You'll another playthrough when you don't kill your family. See the different endings and stuff like that. Lots of value for what the price is of replayability.
Something that you could choose.
Now, I don't know if there's a new game plus and stuff like that afterwards either, but
to allow it to happen if you want. I mean, there's probably going to be runs like that where they just let it be, you know? And there's going to be hidden endings as well. It's also my understanding that during a sort of tutorial boss fight in the first few hours of the game, if you happen to be like a freak of nature and you're just amazing and you can beat this like end game boss, but as a super low level like starter character, if you can actually win the boss fight, the game straight up ends. Like the credits roll because they're like, you earned it. like, please try to do it. Like, there's probably endings in here only at like 60 minutes in. If you're just going,
we're not really being rushed though, right? You're only rushing when you want to, right? So you're playing the game. You can do the open world stuff, and then when you want time to progress, you go do a mission.
God mode, and you're just built different, and you find.
Now I'm assuming if it's 30 days. And some missions only do like side missions. And again, I don't know how long it does it, but a side mission, like he said in the beginning, does 1 hour. Well, that would be like 24 side quests in a day. So it seems like there would be a lot of content where maybe a main mission progresses like half a day, maybe a day type of thing. Maybe something, you do something and you get injured and you pass out and they're like, what time is it? Oh, it's been a week. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Like because of your consequences of your actions. That would be interesting.
Like the really clever trick to bypass something. They're like, okay, yeah, no, you did it. Good job. And you could theoretically do that. Like that's the kind of game that this is. They've taken account of all of those choices and possibilities and tried to build it out into the game and reward players who accomplish it, which I really, really like. I find that really exciting. Like the idea that if you're just built different and you got good, 60 minutes into the game, you find some hidden secret.
No, but Travis, okay, you're going off the deep end here, buddy. Okay, it's not based on what you believe, right? You're like, well, not every person thinks it's better or worse. It literally is better, literally better. You pay more for the product, right? You're paying more, right? A PC costs $1,200, $1,400, $1,500, $2,000. You're literally paying for a better device that plays better games graphically, right? Like everything about it is better, right? You can mod it. You can change things up. Like, it's not about, well, it's not what I like. No, it factually is a better experience on PC. Now, if you don't want to sit at your computer desk and because HDMI cables don't plug into television sets for some reason, then sure. But fundamentally, factually, PCs run better than consoles in every way, shape, or form. It's just what it is.
Ending, I think that's awesome, and I think this game is going to be filled with stuff like that. But overall impressions, let me break this down. I went into this preview expecting Witcher 3 charm and writing, but with AA production quality. And what we got, while I think it is a bit above that, I think that impression is roughly correct. It does a lot of what The Witcher 3 did really, really well, and even some of those things I think better. But in terms of production quality, I do think that there are some areas that could use refinement, especially in like a sequel.
It does connect to your television set. It was a joke. Literally, they connect to your television set. PCs connect to television sets. You can play on a television set.
But that's going to be based off of what they learned during the development process of this game. But overall, I think its weaknesses are minuscule compared to its strengths. Like, this is going to be one of those games where some people play it and they're like, I just don't like the combat, and they set it down. And that's too bad, because I think they're going to miss out on a lot of stuff that's really, really good because they couldn't get past this one speed bump. But if you're able to push past some of that clunkiness, I think you're in for a real treat. And here, if you'll indulge me just for a second, I just want to say, like, these are some of the most important types of games in the industry today, because they represent something new, something fresh, a brand new team as well.
It's not overly complicated. It's overly complicated because people that don't understand shit think it's overly complicated. Like, it's crazy.
And like, how do you...
This is why Steam made Steam OS, so people don't think it's overly complicated, because they know that they think that people think it's overcomplicated, and they're like, you know what? Let's make it not overly complicated.
Do you think we got CDPR? How do you think we got Warhorse? How do you think we got Bethesda Game Studios? How do you think we got Larian pumping out Baldur's Gate 3 and soon to be Divinity? Like, how do you think...
I do agree with him what he's saying here, right? This game doesn't have to be like the greatest thing ever since sliced bread, right? Games in the past were games like this, and they become huge successes. I'm just saying, don't put the cart before the horse. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, don't start making number 2 and number 3 before the first one doesn't sell or does sell.
We got these teams. We got these teams because they started with games that were not like $300 million blockbusters. They started with games with tighter budgets, tighter scope, that focused on a couple of core ideas.
This is what fanboys do. Okay. PlayStation used to fight with Xbox, but now they're not there to fight anymore. So now PlayStation has to fight with PCers.
And did that really, really well. And once they proved the concept, they cranked the dials and went all out on the sequels that blew the world away, right? That's how you get The Witcher 3. That's how you get Baldur's Gate 3. That's how you get these games that just fundamentally change the industry, is by taking
I agree with everything Luke is saying right now, right? Again, this could be the next Skyrim. This could be the next Witcher. This could be the next Halo, where it started off just like this and then built itself up. Make a game, sell a game, right? Make a game. If the game does well, then they can make their next game.
Fresh ideas that's hungry, and then giving them a chance. I fully expect that the Blood of Dawnwalker is going to have some stuff that frustrates me. There's going to be some areas where I'm like, I can tell they ran out of money there. I expect that that's going to happen. But I still think that overall the package is going to be remarkable based on what I played. I cannot wait to play more. If they had let me play another 5 hours, I would have played another 5 hours. I mean, I loved what I experienced. And while it had some rough edges and some clunk here and there, I really liked it. The one thing I really did not like, though, is just inventory management. And
man, do they have the same people make the UI systems for everything else? That's crazy. Like, that looks exactly like Crimson Desert. No?
Stuff. It's something I didn't like in like The Witcher 3. The inventory system was super cluttered and annoying. That's also true here. Kind of a side tangent thing, because some people obviously don't care. It doesn't matter to them. I get really annoyed with clunky inventory management. It drives me crazy. But anyway, my point with all of this is that even if a game has rough edges, it can still absolutely be worth playing. And the rough edges we're talking about here are like Maybe the combat is like a little stiff, you know? Like maybe some of the conversation dialogue, the animations are a little stiff. But like nothing I would say is disqualifying or that you should pass on the game because of. All of the core things that are really important, they are doing very, very well here. And I'm sure all of those rough edges.
It's almost like the people on console who have been indoctrinated the entire time they have their life. So when they see PC, they're like, no, stay away from me. It's like we're a gaming machine, and we do exactly what that does, but better. The only difference is they made it so convenient for you in a cheaper box, right?
The PS5 Pro is the computer I had in 2018 minus CPU. My CPU back then was better than the PS5 Pro's.
Yo, 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 yo. To be wars, now it's open doors. Gamers everywhere. No matter.
Much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. The difference is that consoles used to be great because they were so much cheaper than what the PCs did. PCs have always been more expensive and better than console, but console made it where it was cheaper and you could play it and just take it out of the box, plug it in, your discs and everything, and it was cheaper gaming. It was cheaper gaming. But that has changed. PlayStation and Xbox have lost their fucking minds. They've raised the prices of the consoles to what PCs are, and there's no reason to have a console anymore. Consoles were made for convenience. There's no reason to have a console anymore.
Are just going to be even more smooth by the time the game launches. Rome wasn't built in a day. You got to give them a chance. And I think based on what I've seen so far, I think the Blood of Dawnwalker is one that's well deserving of a chance based on these impressions. Of course, the game is going to go up for sale in September, and reviews will probably go up sometime in August or like very, very early September. And so we'll get a much better idea of what it's actually like before it launches. But I think this is one to keep an eye on for sure. Thank you to Bandai Namco for offering me the chance to play it early at that preview event. That was super cool. And for being chill with me coming and going the same day. I always appreciate studios that are willing to let me fly in and fly out the same day. With a family and kids, it just makes things easier. So much appreciation to them. Shout out to the team at Rebel Wolves. They're doing a great job, and they were super kind and sweet, and couldn't be more lovely, and they're very passionate about what they're doing here, and I can see why. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. You never know who's reading and watching the comment section, just saying that.
That's true. In his channel, a lot of developers and stuff read. So if you do like his content, go over there, hit up at the comment section. He does interviews with people as well. Does a lot of good content over there. So go check out Luke Stevens. And yeah, looks like an interesting game. I mean, I'm not interested in it, but I hope it does well. I don't have time to play The Witcher 3, let alone go play a game that's like The Witcher 3. But looks promising. It looks like I mean, obviously it's a brand new studio. People that used to work for CD Projekt Red started their own company, make their own game. Best of luck to them, right? Make a game, sell a game, and hopefully they find enough people to buy that game to be successful, so they can make their next sequel. So whatever you do in this game moves over to the next game. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about, we got about 20 minutes left. I need to end the show at noon today. We're going to be talking about Tilly Norwood. Okay, Tilly Norwood is a creator or actress that they've created last year. Okay, Tilly Norwood, AI actress, stars in her first movie, Misaligned by Particle 6. Now, we said last year that this year it would be a full-fledged AI movie, right? Not on YouTube, like an actual movie. Okay. So it says Particle 6 is making a feature film debut, and it's bringing out its AI actress, Tilly Norwood, to star in the movie. Tilly Norwood is set to debut in her own movie called Misaligned, produced by Particle 6, a fully AI-focused studio that created Norwood. The story is being described as a comedy drama A coming-of-age story infused essential AI chaos, set in what Particle 6 calls a Tillyverse. For fuck's sake, can we stop? Can we stop with these multiverses, universe, tied things, and all this together? Can I just get a fucking story? Like, just a story. Like a movie from beginning to end with no continuation, no metaverse, no multiverse, no lines interconnecting, no side stories, spin-offs. I just want a movie, right? I just want a movie. I don't want a trilogy. It says, by fully CGI character found in the cloud, the film will follow Tilly Norwood, an AI creation who can access everyone else's lives and memories. Everything changes when the rogue bot from the dark web convinces Tilly to develop human desire and emotions to make herself more human. Okay. This will be the first ever fully AI film produced by Particle 6, by anybody, which calls itself a hybrid studio that works with AI specialists as well as traditional film and TV professionals, including directors, writers, editors. Ellen van der Velden, a CEO of founder of Particle 6, had this to say about Tilly Norwood's movie. He says, quote, "Our work this year has proved something that we suspect all along. AI can support premium narrative filmmaking, but only with a substantial amounts of human craft, skill, judgment, and time. And not a limitation of the technology, but that's the point. Okay, the filmmaker who thrive in the next decade will be the ones who bring decades of storytelling instinct to these new tools. And Misaligned is where we put that work in the feature scale." Vander says it's not only the CEO, the founder is also a hybrid studio, but also a creator of Tilly Norwood. A project began way back in 2015, but did not come to fruition until 2025. A AI division, a production company founded by a Dutch actress. Okay. An Instagram account under Norwood's name cropped up around May 6th of 2025, and by October 3rd, it gained 50,000 followers, and the account featured AI-generated modeling shots, selfies, epic-looking film scenes featuring Tilly, and then stated back in July of 2025 that she's intended Norwood to be the next Scarlett Johansson or Natalie Portman, but later said the audience were more interested in the film story than the actor was well known. Or in the case, even a real Particle 6 also claimed that using Norwood could also cut production costs by a whopping 90%. The announcement comes shortly after Till Norwood sparked quite the backlash in the movie industry following claims that the AI actress has been signed to an agency, which he basically said himself. The news sparked an immediate firestorm and angry statement from the union's actors and filmmakers alike and the AI role in the creative sphere. And with Norwood becoming a more recognizable computer-generated face has caused such a feather ruffling that it's also surprising that reactions across Hollywood has essentially a program could take their jobs. An AI production at a high profile, Tilly Norwood's movie brings a whirlwind of possible outcomes in the industry that's unfortunately in decay, okay, due to its own folly. As many other actors that phase out and only have a handful of young, talented actors who also replace the old guard, is not at all shocked that Hollywood could also see its first ever AI actress starring in a fully AI film, much of their chagrin. The film is absolutely be funny, chaotic, and self-aware. Very Tilly, said Vander, when speaking of Misaligned, but underneath it's all something deeper about identity, performance, and very human fears around AI. And yes, art will almost definitely be imitating life. So now the floor is to you, right? So here's my thing. If they never, let's back up here, right? I always talk about this in a general statement. If aliens came from outer space, okay, came to this planet, and none of us were on the planet Earth, okay, none of us were on planet Earth. They came and they pick up a book, and the first book they pick up is Harry Potter. Right? And they start looking at the book and they start reading the book and they're like, oh, wow, the people from here were wizards. Right? You see what I'm saying? If we weren't always talking about AI and AI is taking over jobs and AI this, and this just came about, like you didn't know AI existed, and someone showed you this movie, you would probably watch the movie and go, oh, it's a good comedy, it's a bad drama, whatever it is, right? You would just watch it for what it is, because you don't know the context behind it. You're just watching the film for what it is, right? You don't know anything about AI. You just watch the movie. You would look at this and go, I like that movie. I didn't like that movie, just like any other movie. But because it's AI, and we know it's AI, people are like, I ain't watching that shit. I ain't watching that shit because it's AI. It's trash. It's slop. It's done. Right? Now, I'm not defending AI. I'm just saying if we didn't know about it, they would pass it off and no one would even know. They wouldn't know the difference. Right? Kylo says, I wish I knew AI didn't exist. Right? Right? But what people really crave is, is Brondo. No, what they really crave is that we just want good movies. We don't care if it's full CGI slop that we watch, right? The actors are not really doing the stunts in most of the movies anyway anymore. It's all CGI stuff, okay? We just want to be entertained. We just want to be entertained. And now CGI has gone to the point where it's so absurd that it becomes fake. Practicals don't happen anymore. More movies are starting to go to practical effects and stuff like that. But if this movie comes out and people start watching and go, I kind of like it, right? Now there's going to be a line drawn in the sand, be like, oh, you like AI, right? Is it sad that they have to make AI actresses now? Well, some of the actors don't know how to promote their stuff and they ruin the film. So can you blame the companies that are like, you know what? Why would I hire Rachel Ziegler to open her mouth and ruin the movie for hundreds of millions of dollars when we could just make our actress or actor and they just do what we told, right? They just act. They don't go on a promotion swing. They don't do anything like that. They just promote the movie, show the trailers, and then let the movie speak for itself. Do you know what I mean? That's where we're going. Now, do I like that they're AI doing stuff? I don't hate it because I don't think it's 100% fully AI. I think there's going to be times where people make AI movies and they're going to be amazing. And there's going to be times that people make it and they're going to be absolute garbage, just like any other thing. I do believe that people that are in the industry will be using AI and using the tools in different ways to make the things better, right? Like I wouldn't be mad at someone back in the day and they're like, oh, well, instead of building a giant spaceship like George Lucas, right, he made miniatures and then filmed the miniatures to make them look like they were real. Should we be mad at miniatures because it's taking away from craftsmen guys that could build really big ships? No, it's just another avenue of customization and tools to use. Some people will use them really good. Other people won't use them at all. We use AI with the songs that we do. I write them. AI makes the music to go along with them. Okay. Is it bad? Some of them are bad. Some of them are funny. Some of them are good. Right? That's just the way it is. I think this is going to be very interesting in how this all turns out, because if this movie comes out and let's say the budget is, I don't know, $10,000 and it makes $1 million, what do you think Hollywood's going to do? Do you think they're going to be like, oh, shucks, right? They'll just go make a $10,000 film, throw it up there and make $1 million. That's a big paycheck. It's a big paycheck, especially since they didn't have to pay the actors. They don't get points and things on the back end. Now people will be making characters and trying to make their character pitch that to the studio to sell it to them. It's going to be a very, very interesting business model, the way people are going to do, because actresses and actors will be out of the job for the most part. And now people making actors and actresses. I mean, there's people on Twitch right now and YouTube that are guys or girls, and they have a filter on that makes them look the opposite sex. And they're making thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the people don't know the difference because they don't know their AI. And they're giving them thousands of dollars in tips because they're looking at their tits. Okay? And they're not real. It's amazing when people say what they say when they know something, and when people say what they say when they don't know something. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. What do you guys think? Are you guys going to go watch Tilly Norwood's movie, Misaligned? Probably not, but you'll wait until it comes on a streaming service because you're interested. Piqued your interest. Be like, well, how bad could it be? I mean, you watched Borderlands. At this point, I think Borderlands would have been a better movie if it was AI. Altered says, Tilly first. What the fuck are we talking about? Yeah. I just want a movie. Like, imagine this, right? Imagine if we got, let me look this up real fast. Because I know on Instagram it was like this or whatever. Okay. So obviously you guys saw He-Man, right? You saw what He-Man looked like. Now imagine if you could make AI, but instead of doing CGI as special effects and stuff like that, right, to make them look closer, this is all AI created, okay? So this is the character in the cartoon. This is the character in AI form, right? This is, you know, Ram Man, Man Fist, right? There's Fisto, right? Now, if you saw He-Man, obviously the guys look too small because He-Man was a cartoon. And the cartoon, they were ridiculously big. Okay? So they can make the characters look exactly like the characters from the cartoons. Right? Now, AI can do this now. We could get the characters that look like the cartoons, and they would be animated, but they would be realistically now with AI. So would this be worse or better for people that like He-Man? Right? You know it's CGI or whatever. My God, that looks awful. Right? But they can make it where it looks like the guys, like He-Man looked too fucking small. But they can make it if they wanted to now in the real world. Alter says, what if He-Man was in the Tillyverse? What if? AI 30 NSG coming soon? Well, it's all right. It's all right. People have said to me before on my uploads that I'm AI. And I'm like, okay. Which just proves my point that most people don't know what the fuck AI is because they can't tell the difference. Mr. G says, better famous actors take me out of the moment. Right. Certain actors say certain things. You're like, oh, God, I used to like that movie. Am I in the Tillyverse? I guess I could be. AI actors will only work if people like them. Better than the annoying wealthy actors. Too bad, so sad. Very true. It's very true. Right? A lot of people have a problem distincting between like the actor and then like the real person. Now, if you see an actor and you like a movie, you'll never meet that actor. You'll never meet that person because that person doesn't exist. You won't be at a Comic-Con and meeting that person. You'll meet the creator of that person, but you won't meet the person. You'll have people cosplay as those people, but there won't be an actual person. Ron says Pedro Pascal can't be replaced by AI. I started noticing a trend on YouTube. Remember when I said, what's her name? Zendaya? Zendaya is the Pedro Pascal. And I said, what's her name? Brenda Wilson, right? That's her name? Is the Pedro Pascal of like video games. Now that's starting to go around. People are starting to see it as well. Brainchild says they'll keep pushing AI slop until the masses complain enough and they ask for the government to restriction. That's when they also get, because they also control everything we see / hear. Well, they've always controlled what we see and / hear. Deborah Wilson. That's it. Deborah Wilson. They've always controlled. That's why they don't like YouTube. Saint says, I met the real Big Bird once. Okay. I think the only one that isn't a Pedro Pascal is The Rock. I just look at this with the AI, and as long as I'm entertained, I don't care. I'll be honest. Because if you can draw me into your movie or TV show, and I'm not even asking questions, right? I'm just entertained. I don't think there's a problem. Do you know what I mean? I know people are like, well, there is a problem because now actors and actresses won't have, but that's not my thing. You have to work harder, right? I mean, people got replaced because of the iPhone. Everyone can film movies and stuff now. People got replaced because of spell check. People got replaced because they can write and typewriters are gone and libraries are gone, right? Lots of people got replaced. You got to figure a way out to work with the tools that you have to be not replaced. So if this person can make Tilly Norwood and make a real life person believe in this person, well, then that's a trait that person makes themselves valuable, because then they can do it again and make someone else for somebody else. All right, we got about 4 minutes. We'll wind down here. We'll be back tonight, 7 p.m. over on Fake Wizard News. We do his podcast. I'm a guest over there. Fake Wizard News is at 7 p.m. on Fake Wizard Live. We'll be back after that. Me and Sarge will be playing more RV There Yet over on 30 and Still Gaming. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. You can listen to some of the music that we have over on Spotify under 30NSG. You can go to iHeart, Pandora, all those other places. Apparel's down below with shirts and mugs and all the other things. And then we'll be back tomorrow morning for the daily grind. I do appreciate you guys very much. You guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Everybody pick a platform, baby. Back in the day, I had a box on the floor. Xbox, PlayStation knocking at your door. Nintendo on the side like a funky little friend. Cartridges and colors that were never ever end. But now we got clouds floating over our heads. No more plastic kingdoms under our beds.